I have said this for the last 8 years. Ladies and gentlemen, you can sell it, you can dish it when it comes to the LJA. You can sell me and throw me to the wolves if I'm wrong about this. Cooper Flagg is going to be one of the top 5 players in the NBA in the next 4 years. You've heard it here. There is no argument to that. His ability to do the things that he does well. He's a good rebounder. He's a good shooter. His three-point shot is going to get better. He is the white Kevin Durant. I have said this for a long, long time, and people thought I was nuts. Well, how could you compare that? He's not a great shooter. Let's go through Kevin Durant's background, where he came from Texas and the Longhorns. Kevin Durant was a great offensive player. He was the number 2 pick in the draft. He was drafted right behind a guy who was an absolute bombshell who didn't even play really a full season with the Portland Trailblazers, and then was out of the NBA in 4 years, really. I understand why people don't like Cooper Flagg. He's not a athletically gifted talent in their eyes. He doesn't show you why he would be a Kyrie Irving coming from Duke, or a Grant Hill, or even a Bobby Hurley we've seen over the years come from the Duke Blue Devils, even a Jason Williams. Here's why this guy is a generational talent. This guy doesn't talk about anybody. He doesn't throw anybody under the bus. He goes out there, plays his heart out. He blocks. He is an ultimate team player. The Mavericks got a gem. He is going to be a better player than Luka Doncic. And this draft, who everybody thought was going to be an all-time great draft, I just don't see it. There's a lot of questions in this coming draft. The Bailey thing, I don't know what Ace Bailey is going to be. I think he's a top 5 draft pick. I don't understand why people don't like him. I like that he has gone out and said what he has said after the fact. This guy is an ultimate talented player. And if he falls, and he falls out of the first round, and he falls to the New York Knicks, a slam dunk. We have seen this before. As a matter of fact, we saw that this year in the NFL. And I'll say this again. As we have seen from the Sanders boy, Shedeur Sanders, opening his mouth and twiddling around with his nice fancy cars and his NIL deals, Ace Bailey is not as bad as Shedeur Sanders. Is he a good person? I don't know. I don't know him personally. I don't know his family. I don't know where he comes from. What I do know is Rutgers basketball was a pretty good basketball program, and this guy was looked at as a top 10 prospect for how many years? This guy, before the season, last year, they said Ace Bailey was going to be a top 5, top 6 pick in next year's draft class. So why any GM or executive thinks that this guy's going to be a bomb shows you how stupid the LJA and these organizations are. Now, the Spurs are an organization that's going to be looking for a point guard. De'Aaron Fox is not a good fit over there with the Spurs. I never thought it was a good fit. I could see them drafting at number 2, the point guard. I think DYLAN Harper, which he's the guard, who everybody thinks is the second best player in this class. I think he goes there. I think De'Aaron Fox will be traded in the offseason, maybe at the draft, to get a tremendous amount of players for De'Aaron Fox. The Spurs are maybe, if they get, and this kid, DYLAN Harper, becomes the player that I think he's going to become, you're a player away from being a contender in the NBA in the Western Conference.
The Spurs also
he
have
almost
pick number
has a
14.
7-foot wingspan.
Yeah, he's special, man. He's a great ball handler. He can shoot. He could do all these things, and he could defend multiple positions. I've seen him defend threes at some points this year for Rutgers, and he comes from a program that plays defense.
Really good defense.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's played 4s, and he's a guard. He's a 1. So, I mean, he's special. And everybody keeps talking about Tyrese Haliburton. He is the identical match of a Tyrese Haliburton, maybe even better athletically. So, and Tyrese Haliburton can't defend like this kid. So, I mean, this kid is going to be – he's not Cooper Flagg good, but he's right under his talents. So, I don't get it why everybody – and by the way, Knoopel is a great offensive talent. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what any of these NBA executives are thinking. This guy was the second best player on the Duke Blue Devils this year, offensively. Even in going to the Final Four, this guy was as good as Cooper Flagg was.
I was going to say, like later in the tournament, he was probably the best player.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get what they're saying. But again, the NBA has always gotten it wrong. Did anybody think that certain players were going to – how about the Greek Freak? Why did he fall all the way to, 15, 16, the way he did to Milwaukee? Where are the NBA executives on that one? Idiots. How about Jokic falling to the second round? Where were the NBA executives on that one? I could go on and on and on. The NBA executives are as good as the LGA has been when LeBron James or the LeBron James Association was built when he was drafted in 2000. What was it, 4 or 2006?
Three.
Oh, 3, whatever. I mean, it was born and built through that draft class because we all know what came out of that draft class. Carmelo Anthony and the one and only Dwayne Wade. So I just think that this is an absolute mockery. I don't know how. First of all, the NBA is a wishy-wash. You don't know how these players are going to be. Do I think this class is going to be great? I don't know. But I can tell you there's at least 4 really good players in this class. And the 3 guys that we have mentioned, Bailey, Harper, and the one and only Flagg, those are 3. All 3 of them are going to be good players in the NBA. Shame on the Klosterman bag or anybody that comes out and says the stupidity or remarks the stupid shit that we've heard over the last couple of weeks.
So they're trying to do a manipulation of the draft, which we really haven't seen agents be as brazen as this trying to do in the NBA. We've seen in the NFL. We know Eli Manning forced his way to New York. Yep. We know years ago John Elway forced his way to the Broncos. We know this happens every once in a while.
Bo Jackson did, too, from Tampa to the Raiders.
Bo Jackson, famously, right? Sat out the entire year and then was taken, and they didn't even realize he could be drafted, and he got taken at the end of the draft the next year, right?
And now Shamar Stewart could do that this year.
Imagine if that happens. That's a whole other
story.
Would be funny. I can't wait. If that does happen, we will talk about it in great detail with the Bengals. I mean, there was even like a kid who was making fun of Joe Burrow for not making the playoffs, and they got to get defense on his team.
Pretty much.
See that went viral the other day. But guys, the NBA draft for me, I just wanted to cover a couple of guys. You talked about Edgecombe. I really like Edgecombe. I think there's a lot of weird stuff that's going to happen in the top 7. I don't think teams are dumb enough to bite on this agent nonsense of we're not going to see Ace Bailey work out, so he's going to fall below 3. He's going 3. I'm sorry. Everybody knows he is that next guy. He's a prototypical wing. He had a big wing. He's an offensive player. He projects to be long defensively and get more athletic with that frame. He's probably not done growing. I can't see him going lower than 4 at the latest if a team really likes Edgecombe.
I would say that's a bit trade-up possibility, too, because I know Utah's very interested.
Could you remember the last time 2 Rutgers players in the NBA draft were drafted in the top 5? Never happened.
I doubt it's ever happened.
I don't even remember the last Rutger player that was drafted in the top 5.
Because they only just became a power conference 10, 15
Stony
years
Brook
ago.
representation,
right,
baby.
Steve Pikal doing a great job coaching
yes,
that. And
Stony Brook coach.
Even that, it took them 15 years. They've only been a Power 5 team, a Big Ten team for 15 years about it. They've only been a really good basketball team probably the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find a list. Maybe one of our interns can find the highest drafted Rutgers players of all time. But it's for sure these 2 guys are going to do it. And there's a reason why I'm not even going to mention Bailey at 3, above 3. Because there's no doubt that DYLAN Harper is going too. Mm-hmm. This guy's unbelievable.
He is great.
He's great. He is a prize as well. In many other drafts, that didn't have Cooper Flagg in it, he would be number 1 pick.
Number 1, 100%.
He's a fantastic player. I mean, you could just see him dicing everybody up in college.
I like his
really
hair.
Fair.
That's my favorite part of his game.
Well, we'll see. If you don't remember, James Harden didn't do any of the hair stuff until he got out of college. So who knows what
he is a more athletic Tyrese Haliburton who can defend too. That's what he is. He's a better, on paper, we can't talk about the IQ, the stuff, the intangible stuff that Haliburton has shown that he can do now in the clutch playing. We don't know about that, but better athlete. Mm-hmm. He's a better athlete, 6'5" point guard, same thing, right? He's a little bit, it looks like he's a little bit stronger. And Jake got him. James Bailey, 1979, drafted 6 overall. 1979.
Yeah, so this is obviously going to break it. So it's really impressive.
Thank you,
It's
Jake.
really impressive. Rutgers.
There are a lot of teams right now. We mentioned the Golden State Warriors, the New York Knicks, that don't have a first-round draft pick. Next year, the Knicks have 2, possibly. Or it all depends on the Wizards. And by the way, the LJA with this crap, with the unprotected, protected picks, that is ridiculous. I don't want to hear this anymore. The NBA has to get this statistic or the way they calculate an unprotected and protected pick.
Yeah, hockey and football do it fine. Why not do conditional picks?
If you trade the pick goes to that team. Stop. Well, if it's a top 11 pick, they keep their pick. That doesn't make any sense. You're giving up a prospect. How many times have we seen the Knicks over the last couple of years give up a top 12 pick and they get the other team's pick the year after or 2 years after, which is if it's a top 11 pick, it's protected and they don't get the pick, and then they got to wait another year. And if it gets there, and then all of a sudden it falls all the way to a second-round pick. How is that fair?
The Knicks lost 2 of them in the same draft.
How is that fair? It doesn't make it. Look what they did with Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
I mean, they got screwed off that Kristaps Porzingis trade.
Yep.
What did they get out of that? They got nothing. They lost Chris, and it helped the Boston Celtics because they won an NBA title a couple of years later because he gets traded over there. It doesn't make sense. And the NBA or the LJ needs to fix this. LeBron James needs to sit with Mr. Dumbo himself and have a conversation on how this works because it doesn't make sense. They created the Bird situation because the Larry Bird rights. That helped the Celtics and a lot of other teams. How does this help teams like the Knicks or even the Chicago Bulls over the years that they got screwed? Okay? It doesn't make sense. And the NBA or the LJA or the Rudy Gobert NBA garbage, I mean, it's just, it doesn't – I mention Rudy Gobert because nobody even remembers Rudy Gobert. But the fact is –
Draymond Green does.
Yeah, that's about it. He's the only one. The fact is, the LJA has to figure out how this makes sense. It's not fair to other organizations that are put in a situation where they have a number 7 pick or 8th pick. They trade it away because a team wants a certain player, but the year after or 2 years later, if it's a protected pick, the other team could lose the option to get that pick because of how bad they are 2 years. If you trade the pick, that pick, no matter how bad they are, goes to that team no matter what. Mm-hmm. And that has to be cleaned up because in the new CBA and the way the new CBA comes out, when's the next CBA? 3 years from now, 4 years from now? I don't know when it is, but
I think we said 3 last time we looked
it has to be cleaned up. This is the one thing that I think has affected my thoughts or even optional thoughts of trading away picks at any point in the draft